Hola, witches.
Hello, hello.
All right, so this video we are going to be talking about how to utilize your sun sign, your ascendant, and your moon uh, in regards to integrating with the witch, which is our topic for the month. I created some graphics, which might be a little confusing to some, but I utilize this book right here because a lot of people, use this book, the only astrology book you'll ever need. She can be kind of confusing, and this book is a lifesaver.
It is. I love the book.
It really is. Astrology for Yourself, the workbook. If you want to learn anything about astrology, honestly, get this book first. It helps so much. But yeah, we're going to talk about astrology, sun, ascendant, and moon, and how to utilize that with integrating the witch. And you will be able to take your own personal signs and take that information and filter it through what we're going to share today. Jess?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so do you want to share anything while I get this up? Like, let's talk about anything you'd like. Let me see.
Well, hold on one second. Sorry, I had a cough, and I didn't want to be all coughing.
Oh, you're good.
Well, see me coughing, but no one can hear me.
Oh, there.
Awesome.
Oh, that was super. That was faster. I'm getting better at this shit, man.
You are.
Well, hopefully y'all can see that. Okay, so yes, the sun sign. Miss Melissa, would you like to take over? Because you expressed it like super fucking awesome, better than I did.
Okay, maybe I'll remember what I actually said earlier. So the sun sign, your sun sign, like this gorgeous graphic expresses, is your basic identity, your conscious purpose, inner self, how you see yourself, your purpose or motivation, how others see you, governs your individuality, your drive to fulfill your goals. And Michael and I were talking earlier, and he had expressed it's like you are the, lead actor of your own play. It is your story. And in a story, this is how it is you chose your life to play out if you believe in that kind of thing. Before you were born, this is the way your life is going to, I guess your life is going to have. It's going to get you from point A to point B. So if your sun sign, like my sun sign is Capricorn, so motivated, push through boundaries, headstrong at times, financially savvy, business, leadership, and things like that. So that would be the most basic aspect of my story. It's kind of like all the words that are going to go into my story. You're not necessarily reading the words. You just have a ton of words in your hand. Those are the words that are going to make up your story. Right. And that's what your sun sign is.
Right. And when we express like the inner self and how others see you, that's more like because it is a sun's basic identity, that's more on a very surface level. It's like the first things that people see and experience. But when we talk about the sun and the foundation and your instinctual expressions and your desires and needs and such like that, you integrate with the witch on a very mundane level, because the sun, again, like we expressed, is those basic needs. And so when you want to integrate it with the witch and become more of what you are, it's like that physical need to define yourself and to remember really who you are. And so the sun is expressed as the witch and the mundane self, in a sense, like the human side, I guess, if you want to say. And it's the need to bring those together to become one and express yourself from a very like a whole standpoint, like from a full place.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It's like it is the actual motion of connecting yourself to your witch and understanding that you are your witch. There isn't a you and a witch. It's all together.
Right.
And
And
this is the foundation of that.
what were you saying earlier? Because you were saying something about like your story and how we first started and how our sun signs actually manifested very perfectly for that.
Right, yes, exactly. Because okay, your sun sign, as far as like integrating your witch, would be the first things as you start your journey that you focus on, the first things you want to get to know about, what you want to, your building blocks. And for me, Capricorn, Earth sign, I remember very distinctly that it was about discovering plants. I was very heavily into the earth element, very focused on things of that nature. New as far as Capricorn is a cardinal sign. New moon spells, prosperity, and things like that. All that was new business ventures. That was really the focus of my path, my witchcraft at the very beginning. That's what I was most interested in finding out. That's what I was drawn to at the very first, the earth element and things like that. And Michael, being his sun sign being Aquarius, was all about mediumship, air, and things like that. So yeah, it was very interesting that looking back, we can see how our sun sign affected our craft from the very beginning, what we were first interested in learning. And I think that a lot of you, if you look back at your journey into the craft, you'll find that your sun sign a lot of what you first wanted to learn about.
Right. And and for those of you who are just starting out, who are new to your practice, a really good thing, if you don't know, because I've come in contact with a lot of people who are just starting out, they don't know where to begin. If you take into consideration your sun sign and whatever it expresses, the element that expresses, take that and utilize that to inspire what you start learning or where you begin your craft. If it's more earthy, like Melissa, it may be like, healing work, herbs, anything that's going to be like working with essential oils, like hands-on shit. If you're air, like me, gaining knowledge, the psychic realm, anything that's going to stimulate the mind and allow you to travel and grow. Water, it would be like working with emotions. Like, that could also be healing work, but like Reiki or something on a very emotional level where you're interacting. Massage therapy actually could be very well with water. And then fire, that's where you're more active, action oriented. So any fire signs out there, take your sign, filter it through its element as well, and find out what is going to be best for you. So that'd be actually a very perfect way to find out what you want and what you actually need right now when you're growing and you're starting something new. So yeah, integrating the witch with the sun sign is giving it its firm and very basic foundation. It's realizing that, again, like we expressed, the two are one. It's not something separate, and it's feeding that connection. It's feeding the witch and the experiences that we have on a very mundane level, because we are living a very physical existence, obviously. So we have to make sure to filter our spiritual experiences and everything that we endure and encounter in something that is going to be very solid. So to really help make sense of your craft and your skills and the experiences that you have to bring that to a very mundane, a very physical level, so you can make sense of the two. Because sometimes it can get very far out there, and if you don't have a good foundation, if you don't have something to tether it to or to bring it back, you get lost. And so the sun sign, your basic expression, it helps you to remain grounded.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And it helps you, you can channel that sign, you can channel that zodiac sign to really step into the witch and integrate that into yourself to where there is no separation. So for me, if I was going to if I was having issues with connecting myself to my witchy aspects, to my witchy side, to my witch, I would connect in a very earthy manner, grounding meditation that deals with earth elements, in a very physical way. Earth is very physical. So it might be a very physical form of initiation. I would try out something like that, something that has to do with expressing it in a physical way, whether it's, creating a specific jewelry to wear to remind me of my connection, or taking specific herbs and making salt scrubs or bath salts to connect to that witch, to remind me of that witch, oils to rub on me that smell connection. It's things like that. So if you're having an issue connecting to your witchy self, take your sun sign and take the elements of that, and you could even go so far as, I started a business that is focused on my witchcraft, that is very Capricorn-esque, a very Capricorn way to integrate the witch. So things like that.
Right, and you can, kitchen witchery is very dominant in the sun sign, your basic, expression, because we need food to live. So kitchen witchery would be perfect, like cooking, associating your magic with food. I know, again, I talk about this often, is when I was doing psychic training. One of the exercises that they expressed was to meditate while eating, but instead of eating at the computer, eating at the TV, sit down, make a meal, and be very aware of what you're doing. Pay attention to the whole process. And then as you're eating, place yourself in yourself. And I know that sounds weird, but really, we're always leaving our bodies. So be mindful of where you are, pay attention to your experience, and focus on yourself. And then as you consume the food that you're eating, focus on how it feels, focus on the bite that you're taking, chew your fucking food, and then swallow, and pay attention to the entire process. Be very mindful of it. And that is something that's very powerful, because we are not really mindful of much that we do. And so part of integrating the witch, especially with the sun sign, is being very aware and alert of our bodies, and paying attention to how you eat and all that. That's a good way to start. Because once you do that, you actually become aware that you are constantly unaware.
Right.
So imbuing your food with magic, or programming it with something specific, like I am pouring love into this, I'm pouring this essence of love into this food, and then being mindful of how you consume it, and realizing that this is the witch that's paying attention, and how you interpret that information, it helps to integrate the spiritual essence and the very astral experience into the very mundane world. And so as you consume and you're aware and alert of these things, you start to make sense, and you start to make more of a reality. And so as you experience daily these things, they become more normal. And so your reactions will be a little more empowered, because they will make sense to you. They're not going to seem so foreign. And so kitchen witchery, like I said, is very good. Sex, either with a person, 3 people, 4 people, however you want to have it with yourself. But sex is a very good expression of your basic identity, because sex is also a very foundational experience. It's something that we crave, we desire, and we really honestly need on some level. Well, most of us not everyone, but anyways, that's a very it can be that sex is a very powerful thing. So it's like a very mundane, a very present and physical experience, but it's also a very enlightened and spiritual and sacred experience. So sex is a perfect way to integrate in so many different ways, y'all. But it really is, because it channels exactly what you're trying to do when you integrate the witch. So sex from your sun sign, and the way you experience that is pay attention to your sun sign. What does it mean? What element is expressing? And what do those things say to you? And what do they say about what you're doing? So as an air sign, what do I feel about food? What foods do I want to consume? As an air sign, as an Aquarius specifically, very creative. How do I want to experience, sexual experiences? How do I want to tackle that? And you take your sign and you take everything about it and you start to apply it to your basic needs and your conscious purpose and basically how you express yourself. And that's how you integrate your craft and your witch with the sun.
Right. And, honestly, like on a more, because it's a very physical aspect of you, it's the foundation. So this is a very physical needs, physical, association that, to me, that is where a lot of books that you read, depending on the type of witchcraft books you read, can be very misleading. A lot of witchcraft books talk about working first with the astral. Don't cast a spell on the physical, work in the astral. And to me, that is more of an ascending thing, ascending sign aspect. And to me, it is a lot more practical and almost necessary to work in the physical. Obviously when you're casting spells, you're working in both the physical and astral, but instead of starting out in the astral, I would definitely start out more in the physical. And physically, you don't necessarily have to have all the tools, but physically take something with your hands and cast that spell in the physical and start out that way instead of focusing so much on the astral. I will say one of the to a course Michael and I took forever ago at Magica was, he would talk about being very aware when he first started out practicing witchcraft, and his points were mainly from a Wiccan aspect, but being very aware of everything around you, be very observant, really pay attention to the physical. And to me, that is really the best way to start out, is very much paying attention to the physical, so you want to integrate that into, and understand that the eyes you see and observe this physical world aren't just you human self eyes. They are witch eyes. They see more. They see differently.
Right.
And really paying attention to your physical world in a very natural, witchy way, because that is who you are.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of like how, before we move on soon, but that's kind of how so many people lose sight of their foundation, because, now that I'm applying astrology and these experiences to it, we focus on the astral, we focus on traveling and leaving and all that, but we don't really focus on developing our sun, our basic identity. And so that's why we kind of, we're off with the fairies. We're disconnected on some level, because we don't have that sun expression. We don't have our basic identity. We don't nourish our basic identity in our sun sign.
Right, exactly. We don't spend enough time there, especially at the beginning. At least I know for me, and when we move to the ascending, we'll talk more about that. But for me, I know that I don't feel like I spent as much time as I should have, which is why it seems like we, or in my experience, I go back to a lot of physical aspects of witchcraft.
Yeah. Well,
Because I still need those experiences.
I'm kind of curious right now, and I know, Susie, you're going to be watching. So I'm kind of curious what her sun sign is, because I've noticed lately a lot of us are getting back to our foundational experiences. I know for me, like, I sort of neglected or took for granted my mediumship and the psychic skills that I have, and I feel sort of disconnected when I don't, consciously get it right there, interact with them and feed them. So for me this year, like I've expressed elsewhere, like I'm working through Ascension, and I'm working through these other topics that have me integrating with the psychic realm, and have me raising energy and traveling and interconnecting with these energies that really express my sun sign's desire and need to thrive. It's basic necessities. So that's interesting. So yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, y'all, like the sun, your basic identity, your foundational purpose, whatnot. Take your sun sign and apply it to this experience, and look back through your story, like Melissa has expressed. Like, look back through your story when you first started practicing, and see if you can see any remnants of your sun sign. See if that actually manifested for you, because I know it did for us.
It's very interesting.
It is. Wow. Down the rabbit hole we go, y'all. Shit. So our next, let's see if I can do this. It's not. Fuck. Oh, they moved the. Hide this shit. Damn it. Okay. Sorry. All right, y'all. So we have the Ascendant, which, if you can, obviously read, it's our mask, it's our persona to others. So it's what we, appear to others. So like when we first come in contact with someone, it's what you're projecting. It's the public you, it's your image. It's the outer layer of your being. So it's like, your surface. It's the outer expression of your spirit. And it's the direction, can't talk, fuck. It's the direction of soul growth. It reflects outward demeanor. It's your first impression to others. It's how you deal with people. And it's your distinct interactive style, your communication style with the world around you. And it's like our comforts. It's the Ascendant is our comforts in the psychic realm. It's what makes us feel safe. It's what makes us feel, at home.
Right. Well, yeah, it's your desires. It's your comfort food. It's your what you want. The way you want to be perceived, the way you want others to see you as. It is your personal style in a way. Because our personal style often reflects the person that we want to be perceived as. So we wear certain things, we do our hair certain ways, we buy certain things to be seen in a certain way. So this is like manifestation. And I was telling Michael earlier that I felt that a lot of witches stay in this area for a very long time. I know I do.
Yeah.
My spells are focused around what I want, not necessarily the way my story is destined to go, but the way I want it to go. So this is very much, about your desires. Your first impressions, people focus a lot on how they are first perceived. We have so many sayings. Your first impression, put your best foot forward. First impression is the lasting impression. So it's not who you are necessarily. It is who you want to be.
Right.
which expresses growth. This is who you desire to become. So we spend a lot of time casting for prosperity, for what we desire, for the people we desire, for the love we desire, and we spend a lot of time here because this is our manifestation. This is what we want, which isn't a bad thing whatsoever. It is a good thing, but I think a lot of times we tend to forget that there are certain aspects that we have to go through. There are certain things experience. So instead of focusing on why we experience these things, which to me deals a lot with our moon sign. It is our sun sign, but it also, shadow self issues there. But instead of dealing with why we're experiencing it, we spend a lot of time trying not to experience it.
Right.
No one wants anything challenging. So, but this is, that's your rising sign. So if you want to integrate your witch with your rising sign, you would take your rising sign, and this is where your desires are. So look at your rising sign and the traits of that sign and what it would express, and focus your manifestation in that area, and see how it fits with what you want for your life.
Right.
And filter it through that filter. And I think that you will find that you will wind up getting, your spells would actually be a lot more successful because you're focusing on what you desire, and you focus on that through your sun sign. Add the filters of your sun. Like my rising is Scorpio, but my sun is Capricorn. So there is definitely a mysterious aspect to the person that I want to be. I want to be mysterious. I want to be sensual, and Capricorn is good at that in the physical. Maybe not so much in the spiritual, but in a way in the spiritual too, because you're talking about your ascendant. This is very much astral plane work. So I would take my Capricorn and my Scorpio and focus on things like improving my sex life, or being mysterious, but in a very almost forward way, in a very Capricorn way. So you take things like that, and those are just a few examples, and you work on that, and you focus and see how your desires match up with your rising sign.
Right. Yes, when you said, what did you say, something about buying shit? I'm like, oh, that applies to me very well, because I remember when I first started out, like any chance I got, I would buy as much as I could. Like I would buy all the books basically, because Aquarius, knowledge, wisdom, how to read, and I would buy all these books because I wanted to seem knowledgeable. I wanted to rise to the occasion. So if someone had anything, they asked me a question or whatnot, I would have that. I would know. And that's funny that you say that. Because I wanted to create that for myself. I wanted to appear to others that I am knowledgeable, and I am. I'm not going to say I'm not, but that's what I desire to express and project. So yeah,
and it'll change as you grow, because it's about growth. So you are knowledgeable now. So now you're probably going to focus on something more, the extension of that.
Right. And that's the thing with the ascendant sign. Mine's Capricorn. So it's very fun, to be honest. It's really it's just very fun. So I'm very knowledgeable in a lot of, psychic and spiritual things. Capricorn, as I get older and as I progress through, different experiences, it's taking on a very different, mask. And I've embraced that. I've embraced, people who know me have probably seen that change, like how I express myself and how I'm more comfortable and confident in certain things I express, especially in very Capricorn traits. But yeah, so I think it's very interesting that, we take our ascendant sign and it's what we want to utilize to cast. It's what we want to create. It's that first impression. It's not just, taking your ascendant and this is how it's going to be. No, a lot of astrologers, they express like you take your signs and if you want it, you work towards it. If you don't, then you can learn from what your innate, your patterns, your behavioral patterns are, and you can shift them, you can change them. And so
Yes, that's a great point.
yeah, I like that. So we take how we desire from our ascendant, our rising sign, and we utilize it to fuel us to almost glamour the outside world. So we're looking, and that's how we integrate the witch with our ascendant sign. We take the way we want to be, what we desire to manifest and become, how we seek to be experienced, and in order to remain authentic to who we are, we must take our rising sign, our ascendant, and interconnect with it and understand its personalities, understand its traits, and understand its elements and how it influences us. And as we channel the ascendant and we project it to the outside experience, we live fully embodied in that moment. So we channel the essence to create, the mask. And masks are not inherently negative. It's just our expression to others. It's how people, will perceive us. It's that first impression, like it's expressing here. And so it's a good thing. So however you want to become and what you want to project, you learn from your ascendant, and it makes things so much easier because when you're not really fighting, you're actually going with that flow, that energy. You're becoming more of who you are, and so you can take that and that witch, the witch that you're integrating with, again, becomes interconnected and fully ingrained in your mundane experience.
Right. And it's like you said before, what was it that you said? Shoot, it just left my brain. I just had it. But yeah, masks aren't a bad thing. They are, who you want to be. Oh, that's what you said. Fake it till you make it. That has a lot to do with your rising. This is what you want to be. This is what you want to grow up to be, to change yourself into, and there's nothing wrong with that. And sometimes we do have to fake it till we make it, because you're building that confidence that, hey, I can do this. I can make myself change and be the person I want to be. This is all about desire, right. And the way you want your life story to go. Right. And to me, this also expresses the fact that you do have control of your own path. A lot of people express the fact that, oh, well, free will, is it really a thing? Well, if we choose before we come to the physical world how we want our life to be, do we actually get to, manipulate our own life story? And I think that you do. I mean, obviously there are some things that you have to experience to, experience it in your own perception. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. You can change your perception of that experience.
Right.
Sort of like Captain Jack Sparrow, when he's like, the problem isn't the problem. The problem is your attitude towards the problem. So yeah, this is where we change our attitudes about the problem. We work on our perception and work on how we perceive the events that go through, and it leads into, to me, all that very much leads into the moon sign.
Right. Which, yes. And before we get to the moon, I will say a lot of people who express like they have issues with meditation or even astral projection or flight, your ascendant is a very good place to understand how to fly. Like for me, let's say my ascendant is Earth, right? Yeah, my ascendant is Earth. And so with the Earth energies and, you know, its essence, I would look towards that to figure out how to stimulate me to really fly or project. And so that's why I really connect with trance when I drum or when I listen to drumming or something very physical, something very earthy. And so people who have like air as their ascendant, you'd want to take that into consideration. You might listen to wind chimes. You might feel like get a fan and feel its breeze and travel with that. But utilize your ascendant, its element and its expression to help you with your meditation, to help you with leaving your body, to help you with flight, anything that's going to connect you to the psychic world or the other. Your ascendant, it rises, and so it's going to help you to rise. It's going to help you to step up and become something more. This is where we create. This is where we desire and where we create our experience, where we daydream, where we, you know, really step up and out of the physical, and we start to really create more for ourselves, and then we figure it out. We figure out what we get there.
Exactly. Oh, you know what would be a fun project to do? A fun project would be to create a dream board of what you want your witch to be. That would actually be a really fun using your ascending sign.
Yes. Oh my God, y'all have to do that. Do that.
That would be fun.
Yeah, and like at the core of your board, put your ascendant, and then around it, put what you express, what you desire, what you want the witch to be, you know, what you feel. I like that. That's good.
Yes.
That is good. I like. And before we move on, another thing, because I know a lot of people have challenges and they get like, you know, in lower vibrational experiences and they get sad and shit. It happens, you know. Not all of us are fine. But no, when you do have these experiences where they're very challenging or chaotic, or where it takes you out of yourself, or it pushes you very deep within yourself, and you disconnect, utilize your ascendant to reconnect with yourself. Because again, our ascendant is that comfort, that comfort of home, the remembrance that, you know, we are who we are. And so you can take your ascendant sign, your rising sign, and utilize the expression of it to surround yourself with that comfort. So, you know, if you're Earth, you might need food, you might need sex to heal, you might need just like cuddling, you might need that physical touch to just feel safe, feel at home, reconnect. You might need to put your feet on the fucking ground, you know, something like that. For water, you might need to have some wine. You might need to overindulge in something to just rebalance you, you know, and shit like that. So know that when you're out of sorts, when you feel disconnected from the witch, or when you feel disconnected from yourself, you can look to your ascendant sign to reconnect and rebalance and fine tune and step back into your own power.
Yes, exactly.
Jess, watch out, hookers. Here we are. So, you know, that leads to the moon. Jess, and would you like to read the moon, Miss Melissa the Dreadful?
Sure. The moon, the depths, the inner you, the core of your being. You know, this is all about shadow work. This is all about the unconscious aspects of yourself, the subconscious habits and attitudes, you know, your past lives, instincts, reaction before thought. This is when you forget to use your filter and someone says something and you just talk. You don't even think about what you're saying, you just spew out words. You know, that is your primal self reacting. You know, that is, this is about, like I said, it's about shadow work. This is about you hide from everyone else. You know, your depths, your secret desires, your hidden thoughts. This is, you know, what the moon is about. And, it also deals with past lives, early childhood, things like that, but when you think about our past lives and our early childhood, that is what has influenced the person we are. You're taking those foundations, a lot like your sun sign, your foundations, but this is what the parts of you that you've developed that you hide. We all hide something of ourselves. So that is what the moon is about. And again, another aspect to me of the craft that a lot of us avoid. I mean, we're looking at your hidden thoughts, the things you only tell yourself is a very challenging thing to do. It is never fun. It's looking at what you want to hide away, the things you don't want to see about yourself. So in order to integrate the witch, I mean, we've all talked about, you hear from every aspect of the craft just about working with your shadow self, your hidden self. So this is about accepting that. And obviously that's the best way to get one of the best ways to connect with your witch. You accept all of it. In fact, the witch, in many ways, for a lot of people, the moon. They don't want to, the people that express things like, well, I would practice, but life got in the way. You're hiding away that aspect of yourself. So in many ways, the best way to find and embrace your witch is shadow work.
It really is, absolutely.
Through your moon stuff. Yes.
Yeah, and the moon for me, everything that Miss Melissa expressed, it's perfect, and I agree. It's also the eternal, the grand Sabbat. It's where you fly and you meet witches, and you get that very primal essence. The moon.
Yeah.
It's lunacy, it's what werewolves, it helps them transform. So it's transformation. It brings the crazies out, and that's so true, because the moon, it moves the water, it moves the emotional expression, the spiritual expression, and it helps you to transform. And so as you process through the moon, it pulls out of you, it pulls out of the witch these very transformative experiences and energies and frequencies. And when the sign that your moon is in, or the sign that your moon is, you get what I'm trying to say. Anyways, that filters through that, and so you can understand how you connect with that aspect. And when you travel, and when you become that very primal and the depth, you enter the abyss to create change. You look within to transform on a very larger scale. And so integrating the witch with the moon, it's very scary. It can be very painful, because when you enter the moon, it's our core. It's our very vulnerable state. It's what, again, it's what we cover up, because we have like the sun, we have these other things that are there, and it's what we cover up. It's what we don't want, like Melissa said, what we don't want people to see, really. And so you have to delve really deep to experience your moon. And once you connect with your moon sign and this energy, you have more power to project. You have more power to connect with the outside world. Your eyes will look different, because you go to that space that's very deep within you, and you process all the information that is stored there. Because the moon, again, it's linked to early childhood influences as well as our past lives, and some very distinct things happen in our younger years as well as our past experiences. We have a lot of past life experiences that we retain in ourselves. And so when we connect with the moon, it's expressed from a place of power. And that's one of the reasons why I feel like the witches, we express the moon. The moon is very sacred to us, because it activates and it surfaces a very powerful expression. Am I making sense? I feel like I'm just rambling on.
Totally making sense.
And so, and sorry, I'm just trying. I'm like kind of like paying attention to what's being expressed to me as well as trying to express it. So, yeah. And so that's why you take your moon sign, its energy, and you apply it to the witch and how it seeks to be expressed. And my moon is in Taurus, I believe, and that's a very interesting way to be expressed. And that's why I'm very physical and very. That's why I'm very passionate about expressing my craft to you, to people, to a very mundane experience, a realm, because I want people to take their power back. Not people. I want witches to take their power back. I want witches to become more than what they are. And so that's my desire. My moon, the depth of my experience is to create a very specific type of energy, and I share that with everyone because I want to inspire that in you, because my moon again is in Taurus. I'm very stubborn. I express things and I want people to physically shift from what I say and what I provide. Okay, I'm rambling enough. You're next.
Right. Well, okay, my moon is Libra, and I find that really interesting, honestly, because Libra is a air sign, intellect. Libras are kind of the lubrication of human interaction. They want everything to go smoothly. They want, everyone, they like things to be balanced, everything coming out well, everyone working together, kind of the peacemaker. And it's interesting to me because I do see aspects of that in myself, but to me that's advice that I share with only people I'm extremely close to. Can come to me, okay, well, what do you think? And anybody can ask Michael. I do it all the time. I'm the one's like, okay, well, I can understand their perspective, and this is what I think, or I think from they're coming at it from this way, and so this is how I would respond. I would come at it from this way. So it is definitely an aspect of myself, but it's again, I can see how the moon, how it is my moon sign, because it is something that I don't share with everyone. But whenever I think about in those terms, getting in touch with my witch through Libra, is hating those interactions, and one of the ways that you can do that, you can work with your moon sign, is to, obviously there's shadow work and things like that, but you can, I think, wasn't it the moon sign? I think it was the moon sign that we were talking about, creating your spiritual self. Creating your inner you, the depths where you're at, spiritually, and creating your spiritual self, and interacting with that spiritual self that you create in your mind, visual, if you will, is your witch. And so you interact with this witch, you talk with them, you build a relationship, and is, with your inner selves, the things that you hide from people.
Right.
Only come from sharing with the closest to the close people in your life. Sometimes not, and you don't express it all even to them. So, yes, to me, that's how I would integrate my moon sign with and the witch, how I would work with those aspects.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you want to change, your thoughts, and when you want to change your experience, obviously the common thing, and especially that's expressed, publicly by all kinds of people, is you change your thoughts, you change your reality. Well, the moon sign helps you change the way you think. Your moon sign will help you change how you process things and change how you think about things But you take that, your moon sign, you take that energy, and it will guide you on how to shift your perception. Some people just need to do affirmations. Some people might need to be a little more expressive, creative with it. If your, moon sign, let's say it's your moon sign, something very fiery, then you would want it to be very, active. You might want to, work out, exercise, and while you're exercising, you reprogram yourself. So as you're exercising and you're in that experience, you're doing something very physical and very fire-oriented. You can see the old patterns leaving your body as your sweat is expressing itself and leaving and releasing. And you can, maybe go get a drink of water. And as you drink water, see the water as your new thoughts, your new program. And this would be very good for people who know that they're going to go exercise, and they'll have a bottle of water the night before. Get your bottle of water, whatever, and program it with the new thought. Have one goal, have one focus, and program it with the new thought. Utilize some crystals to charge that shit up. And then as you exercise, every time you feel sweat or you feel, very, just almost done, see your body, and every time you feel hot, see that experience, see that thought, that thing that you're trying to release, see it evaporate, see it release from your body. And then go, when you need water, as you drink the water, know that it's already programmed to reorganize the patterns in your brain or your soul, your spirit, your experience. Drink the water and see that new thought enter your body, hydrate your body, and let it acclimate to the body, your experience, your spirit. And as it does adjust to the physical, it starts to express on a very spiritual. Your body starts to vibrate at a different rate. Your body's cooling down, your body's being hydrated, and so it starts to shift. And so it's integrating with the new process. Utilize that imagery. And that's one way that you can integrate that, and the witch as well. So another way to integrate the witch with your moon sign would be to take the moon sign, your expression of the moon energy, place your awareness at your third eye or your crown, and see the energy manifest, and then place your other hand at your root chakra and pay attention. Pay attention to how it feels, and allow the energy to move from your crown all the way to the roots, and feel the witch manifest as your moon expression. And once you feel that energy, see it go straight down to the center of earth and ground it out. And then feel that, because you will start to feel it process through your body. You'll feel the moon expression, and that's your depths. You feel the moon come forth and enter your crown, enter your sacred essence, and travel down, ground, experience it on a very physical note in your root chakra. It integrates with that very physical nature, and then you send it to the center of earth, and it becomes more of a solid reality.
Right. I like that. Another way you can work with your moon sign in the craft is, oh wow.
Sorry.
Is right. Is put yourself, okay, especially since this is all about reaction, no thought, just reacting. So come up with scenarios that have a magical nature. Okay, you're in this position, how would you react? And write down whatever the first thing that comes to mind, and then look at your moon sign and reactions, and start to pay attention to what, how those reactions show and reflect your moon sign. And instead of saying, oh, I shouldn't be that way, that's because I promise you that's going to be a lot of the reaction you're going to get. Oh, I shouldn't be that way. That's not right. That's not the way I want to be. Take those aspects and see how you can change them with your rising sign. If you feel like that's the way you shouldn't be, but you also need to accept that is an aspect of yourself. So understand why you feel like you shouldn't react that way.
Right.
You know, really do a lot of meditation and self-exploration. Moon sign, your moon sign and shadow work is not a surface anything. This is depth. Dream journaling. Pay attention to your dreams. This is your subconscious in active play, 3D, live, vivid, HD color, you know. So your dreams are very much your moon sign reflected, you know, personified. Right. So as much as we don't like sometimes working with our dreams, there's a reason.
Work. I fucking hate it. I hate it. Ugh.
And there's a reason. I mean, and for good reason. That's a part of ourselves that we don't want to look at. So dream work is very, to me, would be very essential into connecting with that aspect of your witch.
Yeah, I agree. My camera's like fucking the fuck up, y'all. I don't even know. Like it's like it keeps changing.
I noticed that.
Fuck. Whatever. I'll just fucking glow for the rest of the shit. Yeah, and you know, if you do have a partner to work with, consenting, of course, when you want to experience your sun sign, like your basic identity, actually, sex would be great for everything. So let's just say you have a partner, you have, you know, whatever. Research your sun sign and apply its basic expression. Channel it and allow your partner to know what you're doing. Channel it and then connect with your partner on some level, whatever that is, but in a very sexual way. Because that really, honestly, and I'm not trying to be just crazy, but honestly, that just helps you integrate your spiritual experience and what you're doing, the channeling, into the physical realm. It just makes it just does, for the obvious reasons. So do that, channel your sun sign, and understand that it's like the basic, the primal, like the basic self, really. And then do the same thing for your ascendant. You know, the ascendant is like your fantasy. So get creative with that one, y'all. Get creative with the fantasy. And then your moon sign is more of the depths. It's the very romantic expression, because you're wanting to connect on a deeper level. So the moon sign, you want to channel and connect and express it in a very, very, very deep way. A very, you know, you're connecting on not just the physical, but the spiritual, emotional, every aspect you are connecting. So when you're working with the moon sign and you're connecting with your partner, not like you don't pay attention, but be more aware of your body. Be more aware of how you connect with your partner and how they connect with you. Be more aware of how they breathe and how you're breathing. Take that to the next level. And so make sure to like write down your experiences, because the way that your sun sign expresses itself is going to be different than your ascendant, your fantasy, the way you express yourself, the way you desire to be seen and project to others, versus your moon. And I think, you know, for those of you, us, whatever, who have someone to do that with, that's going to be fun. Mm-hmm. That would be a very fun technique. Project.
I agree. Yes.
But yeah, that's integrating the witch and with your sun, your ascendant, and your moon. If you have any questions, y'all, and we tried to give you like the foundation. We didn't want to go into specifics with like all the different signs, because it's so personal. And you also need to do a little bit of research yourself, just to help yourself grow in that way. But we did our best to express the foundational experiences, and hopefully we made sense. If you have any questions, though, definitely comment below, and we will definitely respond. Do you have anything else that you'd like to express?
No, I'm good. I think we covered everything. But definitely, if you have questions, leave it in the comment section below. Anything you'd like to express? Susie, we want to know what your sun sign is.
Oh my God, totally. Oh, and before before we leave, definitely be very aware and conscious of, especially if you're a witch with other witches, be very aware of who you share your natal chart with. I don't want to make you paranoid, but just be very conscious and trust the people you share your information with. You can do like little bits here and there, but to give your full chart, just be aware of that. Ooh, I do have a personal notice. I finally fucking released my Oracle deck.
Woohoo!
Yes, Jess, this is kind of different. This is what the normal deck's going to look like. Black covering. That's funny. Look at it.
That's awesome. Oh.
And there they go. But yeah, so I finally released my Oracle deck. It's 81 cards plus 4 bonus cards if you pre-order, and I'll definitely put the pre-order link in the description below. I have a lot of perks. I'll send that link and check it out. And I really am excited for everyone to experience it. I'm also fucking nervous because it's very personal. It's very,
so
very personal. But yeah, I'm excited for everyone to work with it. And if you want to check the link out, and yeah, we'll have fun, y'all. We're gonna have a lot of fun, and we have a lot of shit planned for the coming year, and it's exciting.
Yes, it is.
Just, but until next time, y'all, be blessed.
See you later.